Hi, I'm Aeon. This is a video. Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today I want to have a little bit of a discussion with you. Yet again, I have these discussions every now and then whenever I feel like there's something to talk about. And today I want to discuss the idea that Geometry Dash is getting too hard. So, for those of you who don't know, Daivrt, a Russian player, is getting very close to verifying Abyss of Darkness, which is the hardest upcoming top 1, and to a lot of people, this level is just simply not going to be dethroned. A lot of people are saying there's going to be another Bloodbath situation where it's going to take months, closer to a year, before anyone even beats it because of how insanely difficult it is. And it brings up the question, is Geometry Dash reaching its peak, or eventually just getting to a point where it's too hard? And this has a lot to do with just, one thing is our Abyss of Darkness releasing, and stuff like Firework, Aquamenti, and a lot of other levels that are supposedly top 1 or like really hard current top 10 difficulty levels, and the fact that there's been a lot of list demons being placed recently. For those of you who don't know, if you go to the demons list, stuff like Killbot, which when I beat it just like 4 months ago, it was like number 63, I think, when I beat it, and it's now number 77. It's fallen 14 spots in just a matter of like 4 or 5 months, which is a lot. There shouldn't be released 14 new levels in the top 100 levels harder than Killbot in the span of just a few months, right? Killbot's been on the list since like 2017, 16, I think. And to see it move this quickly is really weird. And a lot of people, myself included, are saying GD is just simply getting too hard. The game is moving at a ridiculous pace. New levels are coming out at such high speeds that it's really difficult, really, to keep up with it. And I've seen a lot of people recently, at least, talk about the fact that they're getting very demotivated because of the amount of levels coming out relative to the speed that people are able to keep up with. And you might be saying, well, they're just not good enough to keep up. And that's a fair thing to say. I think that's a completely valid argument to make. But I do want to discuss a little bit about it. So, first and foremost, about the whole people aren't good enough to keep up with it. I want to firstly just put out the fact that no one's able to keep up. Barely anyone's able to keep up. I think the only people who have actively been able to keep up with the list have been RG, Spiritex, Wolves, ViewSonic, Jeller, Sid, and Dice, and Crisis. That's pretty much it. Those are the only people I've seen actually be able to keep up with it. There are very few people able to keep up with the list and how it currently moves and I think this is kind of wild, right? Because right now, I'm currently number 131 on the demons list with 806.91 or list points, right? Which is good. It's a very, very good amount of points. It's an impressive amount. You need to beat a lot of stuff, right? When I beat Bloodlust, I was number 135, which is 4 spots lower, but I had 860 points. That same spot right now is Adrian with 774 points. That's like 80 points less than what I had like a month ago. 80-point drop, which is it just goes to show that even the top 150, which are supposedly the best players in the world, aren't able to keep up with it, which is insane. It's crazy, right? And the hyper-competitive nature of point and crit as an idea of getting list points, list grinding, it's just really hard for people mentally. Being a top player in any game is really difficult, and it's just a hard thing for people to go through with. And at this point, because of the way the top 50 looks, a lot of people, myself included, all basically agree that the top 50 is the worst it has ever been, ever. There are very few levels on the top 50 currently that are just like accepted to be good levels, like commonly, culturally almost accepted to be good levels. There are very few of them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, people are going to have different opinions on what's good and what's bad, but the bad thing about the list just being filled with levels that most people in general all agree aren't good is the fact that people who are very fixated on the hyper competitive nature of point and crit as a system is going to force themselves to beat levels that they do not enjoy. They're going to force themselves to beat levels that are just stupidly annoying for the sake of wanting to stay at the top. And I know for sure that forcing yourself to beat levels that you are not having fun with, especially that difficult, is not a healthy thing whatsoever. That has to do with the quality of levels, obviously, but when levels start getting this difficult, right, it really starts to become a concern. Yatagarasu is number 47. That's ridiculous. Omega, like a prior top 5 or whatever, is number 50. I beat Titan Complex when it was like 44. It's 51 now. I beat it like a couple months ago. Crazy, right? It's absurd how things have just moved so quickly. And I think the main thing here is that it's not because levels or people are getting too good. Well, people are getting too good as well, but I think the main problem here is that too many people notice that there's a lot of clout within releasing really hard levels. So people are making hard levels, and they have been for the last part of like a year or two. And the problem here falls in with the idea that too many levels are being made and released all at once, and for some reason RobTop is rating all of them, which sucks. So, like, a bunch of levels are releasing and all just rated at the same time, which means they're gonna be placed, right? And the thing here is that when you're a player and you verify a level, fine. Someone can go beat the level. That's completely okay. People are gonna be enjoying the level, people are gonna be playing it, and so on and so forth. But when that happens with 10 different levels all at once, everyone can't beat the 10 levels. They're just gonna sit there. They're just gonna not beat the level. Because 10 different verifiers for 10 different levels push out 10 levels. Each individual player is not going to be able to keep up with those 10 levels that 10 different players beat. And I, for one, find it kind of demotivating when you just constantly see your list points drop, because you're working towards goals with list points as well. It's like any other arbitrary metric. You want to go higher. I want to hit 1,000, but I haven't been able to break the 900 barrier because I keep dropping points because the list just goes too fast. But I also have another thing that I want to discuss, and this might seem like the most ridiculous and stupid thing ever, but I like the arbitrary idea and concept of the list being accessible. And it is kind of accessible, like a little bit. But unlike before, when stuff like Bloodbath was on the list, or stuff like Sigma Interface, or A2 Marble, Limitless, you know, Concave Memories, when stuff like that was on the list, right? The flawless. The reason why the list was so accessible was because there were levels that anyone could pick up and try and just get runs on. The list is getting to a point now where it's too hard for anyone who's like decently new to the game to try and pick up a level and just attempt it. The list is more inaccessible than ever. The easy fix for that is just make it a top 200, honestly. 100 main list, 100 extended list. I would love that personally. I think that would be a fantastic idea. I know that it's a lot of work to go into with the list mod, and it's going to be a really hard thing to realize, but I still think it would be a good idea. And just the lower end of the list just doesn't consist of any like good levels that you can actually make runs on. I think the best level to make a runs on in like the first like 15 levels is probably low death, which says a lot because low death is absolutely insane. It's so hard, but low death is like 3 minutes long, so it's like a reasonable level for people to make runs on. I don't know, it's just something about the list just being so inaccessible and the like lack of good levels in the top 100 especially. Like let me count real fast, right? In the top 100, the only good levels, in my personal opinion, obviously, just my opinion, Chroma 2 is good, SPL is good, I think, Distraught is good, Black Blizzard, that's 5. Then it takes like a nose dive between 110 and 128, like 18 levels with nothing until we get to Subsonic. And then Shock Therapy, so that's 7. And then OPS and 1, Speedrun, and Rash, right? Those are like the only levels that I would even say are considered like remotely good in the top 100 to 150. And that's like 7 levels, 8 levels maybe. It's not a lot. It was like, and that's just me personally enjoying these levels because they just fit my skill set for the most part. OPS and 1 I just think looks cool. I don't know how it plays. For all I know, it might play like shit. But it's just the nature of Geometry Dash as a game. It's moving too fast, and it's demotivating a lot of players. I've seen plenty of players recently just not feel like grinding stuff because it's just too hard, and the levels just aren't good enough. And I want to hear what you guys think. Do you have any thoughts and opinions on how the game could just... How would you guys go about fixing this, and what do you guys think? I think the game is gonna see like a massive decline in like top players wanting to push to be the best once AOD releases, because I don't think anyone's gonna beat anything harder than AOD for a long time. I think AOD is gonna be easily the longest standing top 1 ever. I would not be surprised if we see AOD released, rated, and plays number 1, and it does not get dethroned for like at least 3 or 4 years whatsoever. That would not surprise me in the slightest. But either way, I just wanted to have a little bit of a quick discussion. I think I got my points across, kinda. So yeah, either way, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You guys know the drill by now. Leave your comments saying what you guys think. I would love to read your comments and read your thoughts and opinions. And yeah, I will see you guys around. Eat your greens, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, everyone.